Happy afternoon, everyone. It has finished. Chelsea 2, Leicester City 1. I'm joined here by Luke, LCFC Down Under, and the legendary Neil from Beyond the 90. Lads, what do we make of that absolutely thrilling game? I'll start with you, Neil.
When you say thrilling, might have been thrilling for Chelsea. I don't think Chelsea would be that impressed by the performance for their team. I think they'd be like, oh, that was a bad result. But if you would have I'd say the same thing I said against Man United. If Man United would have said to us, oh, we're going to play you every single game between now and the end of the season, they were like, brilliant, we're winning the league. And I think Chelsea would have felt the same way after this game because they weren't on it. But, oh, my God, we were, for large portions of that game, there was no tactics. There was no management. There was no real leadership. We were all okay at some parts when we just scraped a goal because of the penalty. But overall in the game, it was pretty pathetic, let's be honest with you.
The real question here, Luke, is why do you look so happy here on a match reaction?
Yeah, we're going to have the conversation with the gaffer locks that, mate, like until Cooper's gone, that picture should not be in the wheelhouse. That game looked like a lion playing with its prey that's taking too long to die. That's what it looked like. That like Chelsea just played of their food in that second half. Like we got cucked.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, all the comments are coming in and they're quite rightly saying, like, why has Steve Cooper been in charge for the 2 weeks? What did they really achieve? Mm-hmm. You know, the thing is that the 2-1 will make the game seem like there was somewhat close and there was something to be said for it. But I mean, it really doesn't do it justice at all. So what I'm going to do just right here, I didn't have time to bring it into the sort of presentation we normally do, but this has come from SofaScore. So let me bring this up. Then if you can see this.
I've got
mine. So yeah. Here's the momentum bar. And this is, I think, what's really, really depressing. So you can see here that it's just all blue. Hardly anything from Leicester. We didn't really lay a glove on Chelsea the entire game. We got a goal. And here we've got some stats. So you can see overall, the XG is not bad. But you look at the second half, I mean, it's just all come from a penalty. But taking a look at some of these stats, here's from Sky Sports. Let's have a look at it. He had 4 shots the entire game. We only had 1 on target. I'm guessing that's our penalty. It was just men against boys. Really, really depressing. Talk to me then. What do you think? Where do we go from here, Luke?
Everyone in the chat, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I have to keep bashing Cooper. I don't like being negative. I don't want to keep banging on like a broken record. But again, this goes down to the board. What would I change? I would change the manager and quick. Let's just remove our hatred for Cooper and look at it like this. We've all got PTSD to a certain extent from being relegated last time. And I keep going on about it as we left it too long, too late. It's not just about the points problem for me. I look at it like a morale issue. The more disjointed we look week in, week out, we're regressing further and further, not just this season, but from upon last season under Enzo. The longer that rot starts to spread. And that's when I start to worry a lot more that no matter who you bring in, the players are going to be too down tools. They're too confused. They've been through way too many systems in one season, and it kind of doesn't matter who you bring in. Look at Chelsea, for example. Look at all the players celebrating that camaraderie that's not been there the last 3 seasons. You can ask any Chelsea fan if they're in the chat. Like, the players are wanting to play for Enzo. We don't have that. We don't have that at all. And it's heartbreaking to say that how far we've fallen.
Absolutely agree. Funny here. Why did Winks have to get injured? Why couldn't it have been Cooper? I tell you what, if we put Luke up at the King Power, he'll injure him for you. So Tyler, thanks for joining the show. One of my faves. And I think this is a really good take. He goes, it's bizarre that Harry Winks started when it was clear our entire plan was low block and pray. And yeah, I want to bring this up. And yeah, actually, Boho just put here as well. We're getting worse each week. I think that's the real worry, Boho, is that like when you look at some of the other teams, and I'd say Wolves, Southampton, even in Ipswich, you can see that their results are picking up because they're getting better, but Leicester are getting worse. And of course, the results are getting worse. So I just want to kind of bring up this starting lineup because, again, this is sort of like so sort of poor, right? Some really odd things. So, like, we've dropped Vestergaard from the team completely, not even in the squad. Why? Fass was awful today. I think, to be fair, Okoli was not too bad at all. I thought Victor Christiansen was poor, especially for that second goal. Justin, I'm not going to have too much of a go at him because I think he was just, again, being set up to fail. Then I think, you know what, to be fair, Bouba Samari was pretty good. And I think Skip, when he came in, was good. But everyone else, I mean, like McAteer, what did he really do? Why? So I don't know about you, but Mavadidi comes on. We actually look dangerous. Why is he not starting? El Khanous, don't think he was too bad, but didn't really have much to turn to say. Here we go. So let's get some more comments here. Does anyone help our assistants to play it out back from goal kicks? Okoli and Fast and not Vestergaard. We will concede from it soon. What do people make of that? What do you think about that? Do you have a problem with us playing out from the back or not so much?
The problem isn't it's essentially playing out from the back. It's the speed and the clumsiness at which we're doing it. At the end of the day, if you're going to play out from the back, you're going to having the ball and playing it forward. There was a couple of times where we did really well. I think one chance which Casey McAteer missed just wide was a good opportunity, and it was a nice example of playing out from the back. The problem is the manager just goes hurry, and so many times we make stupid mistakes. And this isn't the first time we're saying it, but they don't have a plan. Again, I've just brought up the table just to, we were talking about before. Again, this is before everybody's played because we are again one game ahead here. If again we could potentially go into relegation zone, if Crystal Palace get a win and if Ipswich get a win as well, then we drop into the relegation zone. The reason why I bring this up before people were saying, "Oh well, at least we were clear of the relegation zone," and as we're mentioning, we're getting worse every week, and here, as part of it, we're being dragged into it while other teams are starting to pick up momentum. Now, if this isn't enough time to mention, I don't know what is, because yes, at the moment we are still 3 points off safety, and at the beginning of the season we'd take 17th all day long. However, Ipswich starting to pick up form. Crystal Palace will, I think, genuinely be safe. They will finish above us, in my opinion, if we keep playing like this. So it's ours to lose, and we are losing it. And we're getting worse every week.
Yeah, I mean, the stats are absolutely awful here. You can see that on our team, only one who's got a half decent rating was Hermansen. We'll come into the subs. Maybe some of the subs did a bit better. And I think, just to bring a comment here, which I agree with, as Sean James has put, if Chelsea were clinical, it would have been 6-1. I don't know about if I'd say it's 6-1, but if you look at the stats, you can see that it's just not even close, right? They had an XG of over 2, Noni Madueke decided to clear Cole Palmer's chance off the line for us. Thank you very much. Otherwise, that would have been another one. And they didn't even, let's be honest, did anyone think Chelsea even got into second gear? They didn't have to. Leicester, on the other hand, I mean, I couldn't tell you what the game plan was. I think Tyler kind of brought it on there, saying, were we trying to play low block or not? If we're going to play low block, that's fine. Play the low block and play the right people to do it. It was neither here nor there. James Justins get absolutely, rinsed the whole time round. Let's keep going through some of the comments. Am I right that Samari was a beast today? I wouldn't say he was a beast, but I think he was pretty good. And I would actually probably say he was our best player. What do you guys think of Bouba Samari today?
I thought he was one of our better players. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I think him and Skip and Bilal, but particularly Samari, I thought he had a brilliant game. I think that was one of his better games. I would say brilliant because it was a poor result, but I thought that was definitely, he's on the ascension in terms of form, so he's probably going to keep his place.
Yeah, I think to be fair, what's good about him is he's done quite a few times where he worked back hard and won the ball back, which is something we've never really seen him do in his career. I think to be fair, Cooper's got that out of him. And also he turned on the ball, received it and played the ball forward. I do think, though, that Neil really got the nail on the head there by saying, for me, I think the biggest issue when we compare the two teams, because obviously Enzo's playing the style that we did last season compared to this season, and it's that Chelsea are prepared to be patient. Whereas I think too often with Leicester is that we get the ball and we're trying to go back to front so fast that we lose the ball and it ends up coming back against us. And actually, I think after Chelsea went 2-0 up, we started looking a bit more threatening because they sort of came off the ball and they let us have some more possession. So, Neil's right. It's like we have to stop rushing it at times. You can rush it sometimes. I'm not saying to be slow the whole time. And I do think that sometimes under Enzo, we were too slow at times. But it's having that kind of mixture. But, coming with that, some of the things is funny. Madueke was our best defender. Probably wouldn't disagree with that. Craig Gordon, they strolled the game, Chelsea. Absolutely agree. I just feel that like if they needed to, they would have. They could have scored when they wanted to, I feel like. Samari at least got stuck in. I agree. Tell me how it'll be any different against Brentford or West Ham. Cooper out sooner rather than later. Yeah, let's talk about that because I think for me, that's the massive worry is that like, okay, you can say, oh, well, 2-1 against Chelsea. It's not the worst. You were never expected to win anyway. So it's not like you got absolutely battered, yada, yada, yada. But it's like looking at what we've just seen there, who thinks we're going to get points out of Brentford and West Ham? Luke, you talk to me. What do you think?
I think we lose both. I think that you're seeing a regression further and further each performance under Cooper. I just feel like the players are losing more and more faith. They're still getting in each other's way. I can't see us getting result. I hate being this negative, man. Honestly, I was so positive before this season started when we thought we had Enzo Charge. Really, I really thought that we are going to start to hit our straps in a couple of seasons again. Mate, yeah, let's go through the players because I don't know how much more I could do.
Yeah.
This is depressing.
So let's start. I'm going to move on from Mads because Mads had a pretty good game. This is a good one. Thanks, Brookline. I love your tactical takes. Teams want us to play the ball to Victor Christensen. He is the press trigger. I mean, this is something I've talked about a lot, that he's not very good at playing the ball out. Not just that, but I mean, what I'll say for the second goal that Enzo Fernandez scores, James Justin is injured high up the pitch. So Chelsea keep attacking, and so he can put in a cross and there's no one to get him. But what I also don't like about him is that he's still got time to react to the ball and he just stands there absolutely cluelessly. So, Luke, what do you make of Victor Christensen? We will say one thing quickly, which is this is the first game we've ever seen Steffi Mavadidi pass the ball to Victor Christensen. That'll be a collector's item and it will be on the post-match analysis. But, Luke, what did you make of him?
Yes, we both called that out simultaneously. I think Victor Christensen, again, spot on. Agree with that comment earlier. I think he's poor playing out. He is a press trigger. He always turns looking for his left foot, plays himself into trouble. His only option is either turning the ball over or hoofing it out. He cannot play a ball on the ground out the back. I don't think he's the best at man marking either, as you just discussed. Even that wasn't his man and JJ was injured up the pitch, he still ball watched and was hypnotized. I just think that I haven't seen anything. I don't even think he was that great in the Tottenham game. I don't know what everyone else was smoking. I genuinely, and again, I wanted to see Christensen under Enzo last season. I don't dislike the guy. Okay, I liked him in patches that we've seen him in that relegation season when he first came. But I think he's poor. I don't know why he's starting. I do actually, because our only other option is Luke Thomas. Let's go get ready for the championship, everybody.
Yeah, how he did so well for Bologna, I don't know. He looks like a championship player to me. Interesting one here. I just want to bring this up. Mads Manson, I'll give this to you, Neil. Question, is our outfield 10 any better than 22-23? To me, our place in the table versus that season is mainly the difference between Ward and Hermanson. Just before you give your opinion, I think this team is much worse than the 22-23 season in terms of individual quality. But Neil, I don't want to speak for you. What do you think?
No, it is worse. It is worse than that team, but that was such an anomaly of that team that should have way performed. And the situation was different. You could argue that we had our hands tied because of financial situations. We don't have that this time. So things are going worse. And I think you've said this, it's a car crash in slow motion. We can see what is coming. We're seeing where we're heading, and it's off a cliff face. And we don't know where we know that this is getting worse every single week, but the board wants to hide their head and just go, I don't know what, he'll figure it out. We've got other King Power to, we've got horses to deal with, we've got other stuff to deal with, and they're just going to let this club rot. And that's one of the reasons why I'm not making content, because if they're not going to want to do something, I don't know what else I want to, because we've said this, we've bashed our head against the wall. It's now bleeding coming out the front of our head. And we're, oh, it's fine. It's not that bad. It's that bad. So we are that bad at the moment. So in terms of Mads, yeah, but again, I don't really blame him. He's just a byproduct of us just being that awful. But the thing is, if I'm him, I might be going, do you know what? They've not signed me up to a new contract. I might decide to go in January because I'll go get another better team than this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's where it is. But I think the point is I feel like if we had Mads Hermansen when we were last season that we were in the Premier League, we probably would have stayed up. Yeah. I'm going to take next one on then. I'm going to actually take on this guy, Wout Fast. I'm going to take him on. No, I'm going to take him just because I'm going to do. I got to take Lox's take on this as well. I just think Fast was absolutely awful, and he got to be taken out of the team for me. I think someone was it you, Luke, that was asking for Vestergaard and Okoli to play together. I think his attitude is so awful. The way that not only does he make like an absolute brain dead multiple errors, but afterwards he's like properly having to go at other people. And he used to look at himself in the mirror. He thinks he's too good for Leicester, and he's not good enough for Leicester, in my opinion. I think he's showing time and time again now that when you need someone to, be there, Yeah, here's a big thing from Buzz. I can't stand him. He yells at everyone and he takes no responsibility. That's the worst thing. Okay, people can make mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes. Premier League's a brutal league, right? But the way that you try and blame it on other people is absolutely unacceptable. Yeah. Fast ain't doing himself any favors, but Jesus Christ, man, make him, bench him, take a set. Well, like I said, for his attitude in this game, I think he shouldn't be in the squad at all. He needs to have like a couple of games off. He just panics, always makes a mistake. Agreed. Fast tries to carry the ball, loses it, throws his arms out, then doesn't trust back. I mean, yeah, that's him in a summary. Bring back Ben Nelson. Unfortunately, Ben Nelson is out for a long time. So, not going to be able to have him back either. But we could play Cody or someone like that. Best part is when we signed Rodgers, he called him a leader and future captain. Stupid midget bozo was sideshow Bob. Yeah, I thought you might wonder. Yeah, here we go. Their second goal, he didn't even try and track back to Mark Enzo. He put his hands up in the air before the first header. Lol. Exactly. Okay, here's an interesting one. Can someone please mention Ndidi? The guy is abysmal with the ball and shows little effort working back. So I'm going to pass that one on to you, Neil. What did you make of Wolverhampton Ndidi?
I didn't really notice him in the game, to be honest. The most time I noticed him was when he was got the yellow card, potentially a red card. So, yeah, I think the players are naturally just regressing even further than they were every single game. What did Wolf do? He did a couple of good things, but in general, the game passed him by. I think he was a bit of a passenger, to be honest with you. And you might say I'm harsh, but
no, I don't think anyone's going to be harsh based on what we just saw.
I just thought
he was lucky not to be red carded. Did really poorly when he had a good effort. It definitely doesn't look good in that box crashing position in this particular system and setup. He did look better early in the season. Indeed, he deserves Pratt of the month, is what he was saying. He was on the yellow, but already no limited going forward. That's why I think he should have been taken off at half time, because it's like when he's on the yellow, then he can't even really offer to you what you might want him in the team for. So there you go. You got anything to say about Ndidi, Luke?
No, nothing. He was abysmal.
All right. How about Caleb Okoli? What did you make of him, Luke?
I thought he had a better game, to be honest with you. Like he wasn't incredible, but I like that he's happy to use both of his feet, playing it out from the back. I think that he should keep his spot. Faye should be nowhere near the team. Thinks he's fucking Ronaldo the way he's carrying on. It's ridiculous. I think going forward, Okoli and Yannick Vestergaard are our centre-back duo. So, yeah, for Okoli, decent game. It's just unfortunate that he hasn't been consistent this season.
As an Aussie, Luke, would you take Harry Souttar back?
Not if he doesn't want to be here. He's already basically hinted that he doesn't want to be here. No, to be honest with you, no. And he's a Scotsman as well.
So you don't go with the. Or how about this as an interesting one? What about if we played a back five with Cody, Vestergaard, and Okoli? Because given that we got Fatau out for the season, because that's the big issue, right? So today is the first time that we had Fatau out, so we didn't start with either of the wingers, and it worked about as predictable as we thought it would do. So do you think there's anything to be said for going to a back five, or is it dead on arrival?
You have to do back five. Because also it stops Justin getting exposed. Maybe not. It stops Justin getting exposed, and this is one of the things I was thinking about. If you're going to play a back three, then again, after a fast performance today, you've got to drop him, and then you've got to have, even if it's three old school centre defenders, they will at least do a job down the back. We're not getting them to push forward or doing anything fancy. The fanciness is going to come from Vestergaard with the passing out from the back. So for me, you had to. The fact that he started a back four today, Enzo was absolutely laughing, in my opinion. He was gone, you started a back four, even though you got your best players out, and you're going to drop your winger? Easy for me. Any day. We'll play that. Do you know what? We'll play out. You know what it's like? Like a boxer. He goes, I'll put one hand behind my back and I'll cover one eye. And then we'll see. Yeah. We'll see if you can go and you can still beat me. And we couldn't.
You've just predicted what the match analysis is going to be mainly consisting of, is going to be exactly that. So there you go. Yeah, and so that's James Justin. I felt sorry for him again. I mean, he's getting absolutely skinned alive because he's been asked to play totally out of position. Enzo Maresca decided to play Mark Cucurella to exploit it. It worked really well. They were a bit unlucky that Madueke's goal didn't stand. But to be honest with you, it wasn't even the real reason that was the win or loss. It was just, poor. We still got Ndidi. Let's talk a bit about Samari again. So I'll go for you, Luke. We talked about him already, but do you want to give him any more roses, or we just desperately trying to make something out of what is a pretty poor performance from the entire team?
Pretty much, but that's it. The one thing I'll just give him lastly credit for is the tracking back. He was a bit better in this game. I pointed out, but I think that taking the ball and carrying, he's brilliant. He's strong. He's physical. He's fast for his size. I just think that tracking back, you're going forward, he's right. Going back, he's not. But today, it was a lot better. So I hope he starts next week.
Because I think Enzo looked at us with disappointment and disbelief all game. Yeah, it's like, how has someone managed to wreck what I did so quickly? But there you go. What I'll say about Samara is I think he did do a lot good, but what I didn't like is I think he was trying to get the ball forwards too quickly. Although that could be a team instruction rather than the individual, but I think we needed to slow it down. Neil, do you want to bring this up? Oh my goodness, this is really, really depressing.
The thing is, the more I explain this, the more I'm going to get pissed off. So I'm just going to leave this up here.
Can I just say, here's the thing
you can see basically there.
Yeah. Well, I'll do this. What stands out immediately is on the Leicester City side. Firstly, look how far back everyone is. But look how many passes went into Jamie Vardy.
None.
0. 0 passes to your striker. That's absolutely awful.
If you look at the other ones, because this one's depressing as it is, non-penalties, nothing really much. And then ball progressions and carries, it's not even close.
Yeah. So the weird thing is just like, what is even the game plan then? It's like, because listen, right, you can go, there's nothing wrong with saying we're playing a superior opponent. So we're going to try and play a system where we try and hit people on the break, or we're going to be really defensive and we're going to be resolute. But it's like, we're trying to do that and play Enzo's system at the same time. And so understandably, it works about as great as it.
But we're playing both. We're playing the worst of both systems.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's a lot of people saying it was like Southgate balls sideways and back. Yeah,
Southgate genuinely would be. Southgate would be better than this, because at least Southgate
get a new manager. Yes, not because we lost today, but over the whole season. It doesn't have to be 3 names always thrown around. There's plenty of managers abroad that would love the job. Totally agree. Does the board even consider this shit? It's the same thing week in, week out. Yeah, Blobfish is still here, or Bog Troll, I believe we've called it. All right, let's go back to the players then. We can turn and do that. I'll tell you what, when he came on, Ollie Skip, what did you make of him, Luke?
I thought it was good. So I think that Skip is in some ways very similar to Winks, of able to identify the correct pass, picks out passes brilliant, but he carries the ball a lot better than Winks does, and instead of mopping up and digging players out the shit. So I think that Skip was it was the right call to sub him off in, I believe, the Southampton game for Winks, ironically. But I do think that not playing him again is harsh. I thought that he'd been one of our better players at the early part of the season, and again, it was patchy. But I think there is a player there in Skip. Some people don't like the price tag for him. That's fair enough. But let's say if hypothetically Enzo were in charge, I think that he would be a player that would suit that system perfect as cover for Winks, which we haven't had before.
Yeah, he was good when he came on, I thought. Jamie Vardy, I mean, he touched the ball, 5 times in the entire match. So not really sure you can say much about him. Does anyone want to say anything about him? What can you do, really? Kind of left out of it. Okay, here's an interesting one. I'll start with you, Neil. So he got quite a lot of game time in this match. Obviously, he's coming for Buonanotte. What did you make about Bilal El Khanous?
He was all right. I know he was one of our better players, but that's not saying much. I remember he played some really nice balls when he's dropping deeper, which I think his preferred position. When we're playing him up in the front 3, I just don't think he's designed to play that. But when he drops in and he plays like a number 8, I think he was good. There was some other player. There was a point in the first half which I was really disappointed with. Couldn't even get past his first man for the corner for the free kick we had, and then lost it. Didn't really look like he was tracking back as hard as he could be.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's early days. I'm not going to roast the kid because he was playing out of position. I just want to see him more on the ball, because I think when you get him on the ball and when you play a possession system, this guy can really thrive. But again, we're so early. We'll have to see. Yeah.
Well, what is his position? Because to be fair, you, but especially Luke, have said to me all season long that you think Bilal would actually be much more effective if he was playing the sort of role that Yuri Tillemans did for us, being much more of a deep lying playmaker. And it's like, look, now that we've got Fatau out, everything surely is back on the table. We need to. It doesn't matter what system you play; it matters what results you get. So, is it time maybe to think a little bit differently and see if we can get the best out of him? Because otherwise, as you say, some guys, I mean, there's some interesting comments that people were saying, Bilal was good with the ball at his feet. He had some good line breaking passes. Well, that again came from deep, which is, the thing that you made him. There you go. So what do you think? Is he being used in the right way? What is the best way that we can use Bilal El Khanous?
I think that's sorry,
go on, Luke.
No, I think that everyone laughed at me when I said that it gave that Yuri Tillemans comparison and he's better as a deep line playmaker, and I think that was plain to see in that game why I think he'd be better in that position. The problem is, what do you put him in a double pivot? No way, he's not physical enough, and not for the Premier League. And then the other option is, well, if we went back to playing 3-2-4-1 and he's playing in that as an 8, then yes, but again, you still want him to be a bit deeper, so it's a tricky one. But I don't think he's going to be a 10. I think he'd be better, but I think that's probably where we're most likely going to see him play. With Fatau out, chances are, if it's not Ayew, it's going to be Buonanotte on the right and Kudus as our 10. That's most likely what's going to happen.
Do you think we will play that way, though?
Yes, I do. I think that it's going to alternate between Buonanotte. If Buonanotte's not a 10, it's going to be Bilal. And I don't think it's going to be Ndidi. So, but the problem is that
Well, do you think they will both start together now or not? That's what I'm asking you.
Yes, I do. I think it's going to alternate between Buonanotte and Ayew and Buonanotte and Bilal. I think that those two were going to alternate a fair bit, Ayew and Bilal.
And what about you, Neil? Because I see you furiously disagreeing.
Well, I got to jump in a bit, but just with this, I don't see Steve. He can't even play two wingers.
Yeah, Buzz is saying, be realistic, Luke. And Diddy is Cam for the whole season.
Under Cooper. He's going to play Cam.
Cooper's our manager.
I got to go, guys. I'll see you in a bit.
Yeah, thanks, Neil.
See you later, Neil.
See you in a bit.
Luke, what did you make of Casey McAteer?
So I think there's a player in there. He's not Premier League standard, I know, but he puts a proper shift in. And I think he's lacking in quality of Premier League. But I still think that he brought some energy into that game. There was moments he was there. I just think that sometimes when he's on the ball, he makes the wrong decision, and that's an experience thing. I think personally, he should have gone and loaned for the championship for a whole season. But because of his glimpses of decent football in the championship, I think he was kind of on that fringe of breaking into the team, hence why we kept him. But, mate, I think that now that Fatau is out, going by everything that I just said, I still would like to see McAteer play on that right wing. I don't know about starting, but I would like to see him coming on around the 65, 70-minute mark. I think that his only other option is an out-and-out right winger. I don't like him on the left. Could he play left wing back, right wing back? Maybe, who knows? But for what it's worth, I think that if we are going to play him, bring him off the bench, 20 minutes to go, right wing.
What about Bobby Reid? I mean, he won a penalty in the short time that he was on with his ratings.
I'm not taking the bait there, bro. He's trying to get me to scrape the barrel. He's not on long enough for me to slag him off or call him a donkey or anything. Maybe we need to see more of him, but I think the fairest criticism I think I have of him is you could put this down to the system, but he looks like a bit of a headless chicken. He doesn't know his position is, but I'm not going to slag him off, mate. He was not on for long.
Yeah. I'll say, yes, bring a class on for Enzo to bring on Kiernan Dewsbury Hall. To be fair, yeah, that was to give the fans, to give him a good send off. Yeah, it's funny. Bobby Reid offered little, but he won the penalty. I kind of agree. But if you look at the subs, actually, for me, the one that I think impressed me the most actually was Mavadidi. I think he tried to make things happen, almost won a penalty. He did play the through ball through for us to win the penalty. He looked quite good. So again, it's weird why he doesn't start. Brookline here says, our big problem is we have 8 players that want to play football and 3 players that want to kick it along. I'd agree. Who are those players that you think they are? Because I think just to wrap things up, because this has been a pretty awful one, as we all thought. So what do we make of Steve Cooper? Let's hit the chat. I know that we all think he's Cooper out. Who would you bring instead? Let's bring all that kind of stuff up. It's Casey's chance now. Hope he takes it because I'm putting for him to make the most out of it. I kind of agree. I'm not sure, though, if he's quite good enough to do it. How's Mavadidi the 5th choice winger? Exactly. Absolutely crazy. The long kickers club is Victor Christensen and Diddy and Fass. Probably something to be said there.
Bang on.
So Luke, talk to me then. What do we do going forward? Obviously, you want Cooper out, but given that he's probably going to be here for the next game, what are we going to do? What did you make of his overall performance today? I mean, I think it's really sad to say that, like, we actually ended the first half not too badly, but then in the start of the second half, I don't think the Chelsea goalkeeper even touched it for about half an hour. So I'd actually go as far as saying it was a worse second half than the first. And yeah, we got a goal, but it's a lucky penalty, really. What did you think of him overall?
Just woeful, mate. He's well out of his depth, mate. He doesn't even know what he's doing anymore. He's tried too many things and none of them have worked, and we haven't seen a 90-minute performance. He's out of his depth. No other manager in the Premier League would have gone near him. I think he's championship, and that's his level, mate. He doesn't have an identity. He said he wanted to play one way and plays another. he said he watched all of our games, but he played for Tau on the left and dropped Mavididi, one of our best players and better performers for ages. He needs to go. I've said this 100,000 times. It's not going to happen. So the real conversation needs to be in the next day or two is that Kuhn Top needs to go. That's my controversial opinion. The the book starts and ends of Top. At the end of the day, as much as we all hate Steve Cooper and he has completely taken the wheels off this car, he was appointed by Top. Cooper's a deluded orc. We all know it.
Yeah, someone said, would you take Ruud van Nistelrooy as a rogue shout? Just a suggestion, mate. Yeah, I think we would. He looked quite good at Man United in that he made some simple changes, but they were effective. We're not asking for ourselves to be, European challengers. We just want to stay up by not playing a hopeless brand of football, which is what we're seeing. I surely speak for fans that every game we play with Cooper in charge, the further everyone disconnects with the club. Yeah, I mean, it was just sad watching the team out, there. And a lot of people saying we're all expecting relegation now. And how sad is that 12 games into the season? Yeah, even more crazy. I felt like after maybe 4 games previously, we felt like we had a chance. But look, unfortunately, I think on those sort of depressing vibes, I'm going to let you have your Saturday afternoon back. Hopefully you can have some more enjoyment than what Steve Cooper provided for us. In the end, it finished Leicester City 1, Chelsea 2. Enzo Maresca predictably gets an easy win against us. Not in the relegation zone yet. Hopefully we won't be by the end of the evening, but it's not looking great. Thank you for watching the video. Like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Also, please follow Luke at LCFC Down Under. Always great content, and we love his love of Steve Cooper. Thank you so much, everyone. Take care. Happy Saturday, and see you later. Bye-bye.